Julia Lee joins us now from Bell Direct in Sydney with more details. Julia, it's a good way to start the first day of the working week.
Richard, July was a pretty good month for the Australian market with a gain of 7.3% and with 4 out of 5 in the stocks, the top 200, actually making ground. Today was a good way to start off the month of August. We saw a rise in the Australian share market. Just having a look at the lead-in before our market started today, and we saw a very slight rise from Wall Street, and commodity prices did increase. So it was a pretty good lead-in, but commodity-based stocks didn't really manage a rise. We did see BHP Billiton, Rio Tinto improving throughout the day as copper prices rose in China, but hardly a very inspiring rise at all. We saw BHP Billiton up by 0.6%. Instead, it was the banking sector which was behind much of the rise on the Australian share market. Last week, we saw Citi upgrade its outlook on the banking sector. This morning, we saw Goldman Sachs JBWere increase its ratings on the big four banks. It's rated the big four banks, excluding Commonwealth Bank, as a buy, and Commonwealth Bank, it has at a hold. So we saw the banks gaining between 2 to 2.5% today. It was a bank holiday in New South Wales, but volumes were okay. We saw more than $3 billion worth of stock trading hands, which is typical for a Monday. If we have a look at the Australian share market and where the next test for the market might be, this is a 52-week chart of the S&P ASX 200. And the next real resistance level is at 4,350 points, where I've just drawn that dotted line there. It was a level of resistance for the market last year when it bounced off this point 3 times, and it looks like we're coming up to that point again. We're around about 50 points away from that point, so watch out for that level this week or next week when the Australian market looks to test that level. Also, if I bring up the relative strength index, which measures if the market is overbought or oversold, you can see at the moment we're above that line in the overbought category, and the RSI, we haven't seen that at this level since January 2007, and the last time it hit these levels we saw the market pull back about 350 points. So a bit of danger for the Australian market in the coming weeks, but that's only because we've risen so fast.
Julia, one stock coming back online today, Link Energy.
We have seen Link Energy come back online, and if we have a look at Link Energy's share price over the last 52 weeks, this is what it looks like. And you can see that the shares last year were sold down quite heavily. Now, Link Energy has been trying to sell some of its non-core assets to raise funds so it can increase its gas-to-coal gasification projects. But instead of relying now on those asset sales, it's decided to go to the market with a capital raising. So Link Energy has just completed the institutional leg of its capital raising. It's managed to raise just under $55 million at $1.40 per share, and it's hoping to raise another $20 million through its retail shareholder base. Now, it's going to use these funds to increase the funding on some of its projects at the moment. So it's looking to accelerate its drilling program. It's also looking to add another 4th coal gasification generator at Chinchilla, and it's also looking to speed up its gas to liquids plant in South Australia as well. Now, Link Energy did come back online as expected. Its shares pulled back 0.3%, but still above that new share issue price of $1.40.
And GrainCorp outperformed on the back of a profit upgrade, Julia.
It was a great day for GrainCorp. It was one of the best performers on the market today. Now, back in May, it forecast that its full-year profit would be between $37 to $42 million, but it's upgraded that by as much as 50%. It's now forecasting that full-year net profit is going to be between $53 to $62 million. Now, part of that is because it's seen a lot of activity at its port terminal, and that's really because the monopolization of the wheat industry has disappeared. There's a lot more competition now, and that's been good news for GrainCorp, which opens its terminal. It's basically up to any of the grain exporters. So if we have a look at GrainCorp's share price, this is GrainCorp's share price in 2009 so far. You can see that after that profit guidance in May, shares were really in a holding pattern in a sideways channel. Today's profit upgrade was enough to bring the shares out of that channel into a new era for the share price. Its shares up about 40% in the year to date so far.
Julia Lee, Bell Direct, appreciate your analysis as usual. Thank you.
Thanks, Richard.